Hi, good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to be working on lesson 79. So let's go ahead and begin. Touch part 1. Let's see if you remember a meaning of each of those affixes. Now, touch the letters L-E-S-S. What's one meaning of less? Get ready. Without. Touch the letters N-E-S-S. What's one meaning of ness? Get ready. The state of being something. Touch the letters D-I-S. What's one meaning of dis? Get ready. Not. What's another meaning of dis? Get ready. The opposite of. Everybody touch the letters L-Y. What's one meaning of ly? Get ready. How something happened. Now touch the letters R-E. What's one meaning of re? Get ready. Again. Touch the letters U-N. What's one meaning of un? Get ready. Not. Touch the first word in part 2. So all of us should be looking at part 2, boys and girls. First word. What's the underlined part? J. What word? Managed. Next word. What's the underlined part? Ly. What word? Directly. Next word. What's the underlined part? What word? Physicists. Next word. What's the underlined part? What word? Paused. Next word. What's the underlined part? What word? Experience. Next word. What's the underlined part? What word? Revising. Next word. What's the underlined part? Dis. What word? Disbelief. Next word. What's the underlined part? What word? Weakness. Everybody should be looking at part 3. We're going to talk about what those words mean. Word number 1. What word? Reaction. A response to something can be called a reaction to it. What do you call a response to an electric shock? Get ready. A reaction to an electric shock. Now let's go ahead and continue. Let's look at vocab word number 2. Word number 2. What word? Presentation. A speech can be called a presentation. Everybody, what's another way of saying she made a speech to the group? Get ready. She made a presentation to the group. Touch word number 3. What word? Duplicated. When you have duplicated something, you have made a copy of it that is just like it. Everybody, what's another way of saying he copied that house? Get ready. He duplicated that house. Number 4. What word? Coincidence. A coincidence is something that happens by chance. Everybody, what's another way of saying we met by chance? Get ready. We met by coincidence. Touch word number 5. That word is word number 5. What word? Nagged. Who knows what nagged means? Nagged means constantly scolded and annoyed. Number 6. What word? Bombardment. A shower of particles is a bombardment of particles. A shower of rocks is a bombardment of rocks. Everybody, what do we call a shower of tomatoes? Get ready. A bombardment of tomatoes. Everybody touch part 4. Let's go ahead and look at the first word. What word? Permission. Next word. What word? Experimental. Next word. What word? Occasionally. Next word. What word? Delivered. Next word. What word? Chicago. Next word. What word? Slumped. Next word. What word? Computer. Next word. What word? Memorized. Next word. What word? Procedures. Next word. What word? Awakened. Next word. What word? Stretched. Next word. What word? Pizza. Next word. What word? Scheduled. Next word. What word? Wearing. Next word. What word? Laboratory. Next word. What word? Various. Next word. What word? Data. Next word. What word? Amazement. Let's go ahead and look at part 5. We're going to read the story. Everybody should be looking at part 5. Remember, the error limit for this story is 12. The title of the story is Millie Prepares Her Paper. Make sure we're following along, boys and girls. Millie Jacobson returned to State University, still wearing the dusty jeans and other clothes she had worn in the mountains. She had gone directly to the airport from Mr. Hicks' home and had managed to get on a late-night flight. The plane landed at 4 in the morning and Millie went directly to her laboratory in the physics building. She noticed on her way into the building that the piles had been removed from the lawn. She turned on the desk lamp in her lab, sat down, stacked her records on one side of the desk, turned on her paper, and typed the title of the paper, The Reaction of Gold to Laser Bombardment. She paused for a moment before beginning to type the paper. She thought about how the other physicists would react when she presented her paper at the International Convention of Physicists. That was Millie's plan, but she had to work fast, for the convention in Chicago was only 3 weeks away. Millie had to complete the paper and then get permission to present it. The program for the convention had already been set for months. Millie would have to talk somebody into letting her make her presentation at one of the sessions, but first she had to complete her paper. She typed for about 2 hours. Occasionally, she referred to her notes, but she had memorized most of the data. The first part of her paper described the experimental procedures. She told how she tested the various metals and how they reacted to the short laser blasts. Before Millie could begin the second part of her paper, which was to tell about her field experience with the laser gear, she fell asleep in the lab. Sitting at her computer, waking up in the middle of the morning, she noticed that several people were working in the lab. She greeted them, slumped over her computer, and went to sleep again. Around noon, Fred Frankel awakened her by gently shaking her shoulder. "Come on, Millie. If you want to sleep, you should go home and go to bed." "I don't want to sleep," Millie said. "I want to write, but I'm so tired." She stretched and yawned, stood up and stretched again. "I'm awake now. I'll just have a cup of coffee and I'll be fine." Millie typed all afternoon. She called a pizza place and had a small pizza delivered to the lab. Eating and typing at the same time, she completed the first draft of the paper before she finished the pizza. Then she began revising the paper. She crossed out sentences, she rewrote parts, she read the paper over carefully, and just to be sure, she reread it once more. At 9 at night, the paper was completed. By 9 the next morning, the paper had been retyped and duplicated by a typist that Millie hired. Millie had offered the typist $300 if he typed the paper before noon of the following day. Next, Millie called the program chairperson for the International Convention of Physicists and explained that she had a very important paper to present. "That's a nice coincidence," the chairperson said. "We find out one of our scheduled presenters can't be with us for the convention. His wife is going to have a baby and he wants to stay home." "That's great," Millie said. Now Millie waited. She was dying to tell somebody about her discovery, but she wanted to surprise everybody when she presented her paper at the convention. She realized that she was sort of a show-off, but she also realized that she had made an important discovery and that she deserved a chance to show off. There were several times during the next 3 weeks that she almost told Fred about her experiments. For 3 days after she returned, he nagged her, trying to find out what she did in California. Each time Millie responded, "I was doing a field study," but each time she wanted to tell him. She wanted to see his eyes become large with amazement and his mouth fall open with disbelief, but she made herself keep the secret. To keep it was getting more difficult each day. So boys and girls, after you finish watching my recording, make sure you complete lesson workbook 79. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. When you guys are done with your assignment, please send me a picture through the chat so I can grade it and post your grade. Have a great day, boys and girls.